We continue now at the top of Daf Yomi Gemara Meseches Eruvin. This is Eruvin Daf 70b. The Gemara has just asked, can a Yoresh be mevatel the Rishus on Shabbos? Let's say a person forgot to join the Eruv and he wasn't mevatel his Rishus, and then he dies on Shabbos. Now his son inherits him, so can his son be mevatel in the middle of Shabbos? And the Gemara explains the question. In a situation where in theory you could have joined the Eruv yesterday if you wanted to, so then bitulei nami matzi mevatel, then you're able to also be mevatel. So meaning the father, had he still been alive, he could have joined the Eruv yesterday before Shabbos, so he can be mevatel on Shabbos. Aval hai, but this guy over here, this son, kevun di boy leRuvim asmol lo matzi ma'ariv, if he wanted to join the Eruv yesterday, he couldn't have. It wasn't his property then, so therefore lo matzi mevatel. Maybe he can't be mevatel. Oh, Dilmor, maybe Yorish Kari Diavuhu. Maybe the Yorish is an extension of his father, so therefore, just like his father could do the bittul, so his father died, now he could do the bittul. So Rav Nachman now replies, Omar Lei said to him, Ani Omer Mevatel. I say that the Yorish is allowed to be Mevatel. V'hani Devei Shmuel Tanu Ein Mevatel. But the people of the house of Shmuel, of the yeshiva of Shmuel, they say he's not allowed to be Mevatel, so it's Machlokas Amoraim. Esrei, so now the Gemara asks, Zeh HaKlal, it says, here's the rule, Kol shemuter lemiksa Shabbos, huter lechol haShabbos. So it says in the Brisa, anything that was mutter for part of Shabbos is now mutter for the entire Shabbos. V'chol shenesar lemiksa Shabbos, nesar lechol haShabbos. If something was prohibited for part of Shabbos, it's also for the entire Shabbos. Chutz mi mevatel rishus, except for the case of mevatel rishus. So first, the Gemara is going to explain each line in this Brisa. Kol shehuter lemiksa Shabbos, mutter lechol haShabbos. What is the case where something is mutter for part of Shabbos and therefore it's mutter for the entire Shabbos? Could go Erev derech haPesach v'nistam haPesach. Let's say a person made an Erev because there was a door connecting the two residences, and then it gets closed up, the door. Erev derech halon, you make an Erev through a window, similar. V'nistam halon, and the window gets closed up on Shabbos. So in such a situation, since the Erev worked originally, the fact that the entryway that allowed you to make the Erev now got closed up in the middle of Shabbos is not going to be a problem. And then Zeh HaKlal, what about it says this is the rule, what does that include? Usually when you have the word Zeh HaKlal, it includes something. Leisuye, it comes to include Mavoi Shenitlu Korosav Olachayev. Let's say you have a Mavoi, and they made a Shitufei Mavos, and then the Koro, or the Lechi, got taken away on Shabbos. So in such a situation, since it was mutter for part of Shabbos, it's mutter for the entire Shabbos. What about the next line in the Brisa? Kol shenesar lemiksa Shabbos, nesar lechol haShabbos kula. If it was also for part of Shabbos, it's also for the entire Shabbos. What's an example? Kagon, for example, shnei batim v'shnei tzidei Rishus Harabim. Let's say you have two houses on two sides of Rishus Harabim. They cannot make an Erev because we're dealing with a Rishus Harabim. V'kifum nachri mechitza. Then some non-Jews come and they build walls all around the Rishus Harabim. They render the Rishus Harabim to be no longer Rishus Harabim. Now you're able to make an Erev in the middle of Shabbos. So v'kifum nachri mechitza b'Shabbos, they build a mechitza on Shabbos. So in such a situation, since you started off Shabbos be'Isser, you can't go ahead then and say in the middle of Shabbos we're going to make an Erev and carry in this area. And Zeh HaKlal la'suye mai. What does the Zeh HaKlal in this line come to include? La'suye meis nachri b'Shabbos. It's to include, let's say you had a non-Jew that was part of the chutzner and you didn't rent out the rishus from the non-Jew, so he was preventing you from being able to make an Erev. If he then dies in the middle of Shabbos, you can't say all of a sudden, now we can have an Erev and carry here on Shabbos. It's not going to work. In any case, the proof from the Brisa is as follows. V'katani, it says in the Brisa, chutz mi mevatel rishus. The only time something can change in the middle of Shabbos is if somebody who forgot to join the Erev is mevatel his rishus. So the Gemara now draws an implication. Ihu in, he, the person himself, can be mevatel rishus. Yoresh lo, but somebody who inherits him cannot. Just from the language of the Brisa, mevatel rishus, it sounds like we're talking about the person himself, not his Yoresh, not the person who inherits him. So the Gemara says a simple answer, Ema chutz mi toras bittul rishus. What it means is, except for the concept of bittul rishus. Bittul rishus can be with the person himself, or it can be with somebody who inherits, with his Yoresh. But in that concept, that can take place in the middle of Shabbos. The Gemara now tries another question, Esvei, another question from a Brisa. Echad mibnei chotzer shemeis. Let's say somebody from a courtyard dies. V'hiniach rishuso le'echad min hashuk. And he leaves over his property to somebody from outside of the chotzer. So now all of a sudden, this property that's in this chotzer is now being owned by somebody who lives somewhere else altogether. So miba'od yom, if this person inherits the property from before Shabbos, so then oser, then we got a problem over here, because this person did not make an Eruv. This person who was inheriting the property did not join the Eruv, and the first person was trying to make an Eruv, but he died before Shabbos. Second person never made an Eruv, and so it's going to be a problem. However, let's say the person dies after Shabbos begins, so he already made an Eruv, everything was fine, then he dies, then some guy inherits him outside of this residence. So then Eino Oser, it's not a problem, because since Lemixas HaShabbos, since it was permitted for part of Shabbos, it's going to be okay. And now the Bride says the reverse case. Let's say somebody from the marketplace dies, he doesn't live here, but he happens to own property in this area. And he leaves over to his reshus that he has to somebody who actually lives in the chutzner. So now you have this new property all of a sudden, inherited by somebody from the chutzner. So if that all happens before Shabbos, it's not a problem, because this guy who lives in the chutzner now inherited a little more property in the chutzner before Shabbos, and whatever Eruv he makes will include this new property. It's not going to be a problem. However, if this all happens after Shabbos, so when this guy joined the Eruv, he was only including the property he owned at the time. Now he suddenly inherits a new property in the chutzner. That property didn't pose a problem before because it was some guy who didn't live here, but now he lives here and he's got a new property. It wasn't included in the Eruv Oser, so then it's going to be a problem. So the Gemara asks a simple question. Amai Oser, why does that new property create a problem? Nevatel, he's like a Yoresh, and let him be Mevatel, just like anybody else who, if the original person is somebody else joining an Eruv, he can be Mevatel on Shabbos. This guy is a Yoresh, let him be Mevatel. Elamai, it seems that a Yoresh cannot be Mevatel. It seems to be a proof. So the Gemara says, "My oser nami de katani adshi avatel." No, maybe the word oser just means until he does the bittul. But once he does the bittul, then everything would be fine. It could very well be that a yoresh could be mevatel. Gemara tries another proof. Tashma coming here. Yisrael v'ger. Let's say you have a Jew and a ger, a convert. Now the reason we're choosing a convert here is the point is he has no yarshim. This is a convert who has no children, and there's no yarshim because he converted, so he has no one to inherit him. Sharuyan b'magur achas, and they're living in one residence. Rashi says different rooms for each person. Umeis ger, and then the convert, the ger, dies. Miba'od yom, if he dies from before Shabbos, and we'll see a continuation of this discussion in the next video on Daf Ayin Aleph Amud Aleph.